Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we have Elon Musk voting Republican. Yes, folks, he is finally joining the dark side. With that being said, as always, if you want to join us here at the Bald Brad Show, or heck, support a conservative, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. This article does come from our friends over at the Daily Wire, and they say here, Elon Musk admitting he had voted overwhelmingly for Democrats in the past has changed his mind. Musk is registered as an independent voter. He announced the switch over video link at a tech summit in Miami, Florida, hosted by the All In podcast. He said this, quote, "I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically. Like, I'm not sure. I might have never voted for a Republican, just to be clear. Now this election, I will." Musk's metamorphosis for voting Democrat to voting Republican could have been documented by actions over the last 2 years. In July 2020, Musk issued 2 tweets tweaking to the left. The first likely confounded members of the left, confident that their support for attacks on America were physical riots, looting, or philosophical, the 1619 Project, were shared by everyone in the so-called center of the political spectrum. Musk tweeted, "The left is losing the middle." And he's absolutely right. There was an image that Musk posted that said that, look, it's the middle that's staying where they're at, the right is staying where they're at, and the left have just, or in other words, Democrats have just gone super far left. And the Democrats think the complete opposite. They think the right is going further right, that the center is staying there, and that the Democrats haven't changed a bit, which is just, it's baffling to me. And it's just a continuation, folks, that everything's in the upside down. Like, the Democrats think the right are conspiracy theorists, that we don't live in reality, that we're just in make-believe land. But then the right says the same thing about the left. But remember, it's the left that think men can be women and women can be men. It's the left that thinks that free speech shouldn't be allowed for all. It's the left that's trying to censor everybody. It's the left doing this and that. It's not the right, right? It's not the middle. It's not the independents. It's the Democrats and the progressive left that are doing all these crazy things. They want abortion up to the point of birth. Sometimes after birth, we even had Democrats on radio saying that. So it's not the middle, and it's not the right that's moving. If anything, the right has gotten further to the middle. And we know this, folks. We know this, that the Democrats are going further left. You just have to look at history. For example, look at John F. Kennedy. Look at his values and his ideas. If you listen to John F. Kennedy today, if you read things about JFK, you would think the dude was a Republican. Okay? You even look at some of the things that Clinton said. Bill Clinton sounds almost center. Bill Clinton was against illegal immigration. He actually did stuff about it. So this whole thing about, the right going further right and the left staying in the middle is just a bunch of hocus pocus garbage, and Elon Musk knows it, and he's called him out, which is why he's the one that's ultimately going to be voting Republican, even though he's a registered independent. Musk followed 25 minutes later with another tweet attacking the father of communism, Karl Marx, writing succulently, "Das Kapital in a nutshell," followed by a picture of Marx with a statement in quasi-German, "Give me dat for free." Yeah. It is true. I mean, the left just want everything handed to them, right? Which is why you have them wanting, they want you to pay for their education, right? They want you to pay for their student loans. They want you to pay for this. They want free health care. They want, universal basic income. They want you to pay for their mortgage, all sorts of stuff, folks. They just want to throw money at the problem, which, hey, in a sense, Joe Biden kind of tried that, right? He was just throwing money at the problem when we had COVID-19, shutting everything down. And so he threw these massive stimulus checks out, which there was news today that Morgan Stanley, an analyst from Morgan Stanley, came out and said, look, the inflation is mostly due to those stimulus checks that were being pumped out by the Biden administration. And he even said the one that had the most effect on inflation was the first stimulus check, the big ones. So, it's just another thing that can be pointed towards Joe Biden causing the problem. But again, they're not going to say they're the problem. Of course they wouldn't, right? It's a PR nightmare for them. We all know he's the problem. We all know the things that he's done and is doing is causing more inflation. This is the same guy, folks, that just came out and goes, "Oh, well, I'm going to increase the corporate tax rate. That will help with inflation." No, it's going to make inflation worse. It's going to make inflation way worse. If you tax corporations, in effect, we would like to think that that tax somehow, in some way, shape, or form, will get passed down to the consumer. That's usually how it works. But Democrats, these leftists, these progressives will say and manipulate, "Oh, well, not all the time, it gets moved out and sent other places and they can eat those costs." Yes, folks, sometimes that is true. But we have to go with in general. And in general, it does get passed on to the consumer, which if it gets passed on to the consumer, that means the price of goods and services do go up, which inflation then happens. In May 2020, Musk famously tweeted, "Take the red pill." Sounds like he might have taken it himself. And if you don't know what it is, taking the red pill, it's basically an awakening to all the things that you were blind to before. It comes pretty much from the Matrix. You were blind to everything that the Democrat Party, these progressive leftists, were doing. And now that you see certain things, you can't unsee it. And now finally everything's starting to fall into place and is making sense. It says, in the film The Matrix, the hero Neo is offered a choice between a red pill and a blue pill. The red pill would free him from a dream world imposed on humanity and let him see reality. Meaning he was living in a fictitious world, which is what I kind of segued or at least led with at the beginning of the show, is that it's funny how the left say the right is within all this false reality. And the right says, the left is in false reality. But again, being red pill is removing you from all that stuff of the false reality you lived in as a Democrat, as a progressive, and finally bringing you into reality. Some conservatives that are taking the red pill means from a former liberal or a leftist to embrace a conservative philosophy, which is what I just mentioned. In April, Musk expressed the repugnance for those who would address war by using catchphrases or words rather than action, reacting to a nightclub in Berlin that posted the word peace in giant letters while the war between Ukraine and Russia raged on. Musk tweeted, "They wrote peace on the wall at that place. I refused to enter, or I refused entry." I think that's what he's saying there. He continued, peace, question mark. I hate the word. Those who do care about peace, myself aspirationally included, don't need to hear it. And those who don't care about peace, well, so look, Elon is definitely posting his viewpoint a lot more, I would say, now than ever before. It seems like he was being kind of subtle on Twitter, where you'd almost have to read between his words on the things that he was saying. And I think he was pretty clear in what he was saying, even though he was writing almost, I don't want to say in a coded way, but very, very walking on eggshells. I would imagine he maybe didn't want to get banned, or, he didn't want pushback on his company. Maybe he didn't want his stocks to drive down or fall. I don't know why, but he's definitely obviously being a lot more vocal now that he's on a pathway to owning Twitter, which is nice to see. Hopefully we get a lot more free speech out of there. And it's funny because the left are losing their mind over this free speech stuff still. And Elon Musk is just exposing them, folks. It just came out, I think, that roughly 49% of Joe Biden's followers on Twitter are fake. So it's just, again, but hey, folks, hey, it's just a conspiracy. We're just making all this crap up. It's not real. The censorship, that was all fake. Hunter Biden's laptop, Russian disinformation, all this stuff. Yeah. Again, I told somebody the other day, there's no greater time to be alive if you love politics. This is the best because you got all this exposing going on from the left. You got Elon Musk doing it. Somebody that's not even a registered Republican that voted Democrat for his entire life. And they've gone so insane that now people are switching over. The red wave's coming, folks, and it's going to be a tsunami. One you never seen before. Take the pill. Okay, it's amazing. Once you see reality, it's great. But, these leftists have gone so far that their head's going to spin in the midterms in the upcoming election year. Because look, Joe Biden is not going to fix anything, right? We all know Joe Biden's not going to do nothing. If he was going to fix anything, he would have done it already. The guy's been in government his entire life. So he should know how to fix these things. If he doesn't know how to do it, his team should know how to do it. His team has connections. So again, he's been in Congress his entire life. You don't think the guy doesn't know anybody? I would imagine he knows somebody that knows something on how to fix something. But, again, when you're, lacking up here in the head and you clearly have some sort of dementia and you can't remember your name, your wife's name, or where the hell you live, you're not really going to fix anything. So, I got to say, too, I want to add this in here. This is very reminiscent also of Reagan switching from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. And there's actually a pretty interesting story with that. I wasn't going to share it, but Reagan was speaking at some event, and forgive me, I'm not going to do this story justice, but Reagan was speaking at an event and he was kind of called out. He was like, look, you're saying all these things about the Republican Party in a positive way. And the lady was like, well, you're not even a registered Republican. And he's like, oh, well, I'll do it. And she goes, hey, I got a slip right here. I already filled it out for you. So the lady already filled out the registration pamphlet for him. He was called out in front of everybody. And she actually went up there and he signed it right there on the spot. And he said, look, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. So even back then, right, you're looking at what, the very late 70s, because I think Reagan came in, in 80 or 81, that they were already moving far left then. So for them to be, oh, the Republican Party, the conservatives are going further right, is just a bunch of hocus pocus. It's fake news. It's not real. So I wanted to add in there. I think that's a little bit of a cool story that kind of, relates a little bit to Elon Musk here. Even though he's not joining the Republican Party, he is going to be voting Republican, and rightfully so. We're the party. We're the dark side of the force. We're not dark in the sense we're negative, folks. I just use that because, again, the left thinks that we're the the evil empire, right? We're the Sith. We're disgusting. So, folks, thank you so much for always supporting me here at the Paul Brad Show. We are growing, folks. I'm telling you, we're actually consistently getting a lot of subscribers here, and I can't wait for what the future holds. We're going to be doing amazing things with all of you. We're all family here. We're all Americans, folks, for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody from outside America, but you get what I'm saying. With that being said, as always, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link, folks, with your friends and family on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, all of social media, and I will see you later here on the Paul Brad Show.